So some of the frustrations that come with betting DFS in golf is you're building that roster and you're stuck with that roster for 4 days. So if guys miss the cut, too bad. Sorry, that's part
You're
of
basically
DFS
done,
with golf, right? Like that's a bit of the challenge. So there's a whole other strategy to betting DFS in trying to find guys that can make cuts, because you need a full roster through the whole weekend. You also want to try to find guys that are absolutely like birdie making machines, because you're going to get more points for birdies, more points for eagles, pars. You're going to lose points for bogeys.
Yep.
So you really want some guys that can play some bogey free golf. So you got to factor all those things in on top of dealing with the salary cap.
So let's do our squads.
Okay. So how do you want to do it? Do you want to break it down?
Yeah.
Do we each go pick by pick?
Sure. Okay.
So we already just talked about it. We've both gone with Rory McIlroy as the one pick based on those trends, which might be a crazy pick, but
we're dealing with, just so you know, so we have to pick 6 players. $50,000 is our bankroll that we have. So Rory was worth $10,900. Tough start, not a lot left.
Yeah, and not coming in with great form, right? Like missed the cut at the Scottish, was finished 59th at the Irish, was 7th at the US Open, so had some decent form there.
Full on data dude pick. Full on data dude.
Yeah, full on. We're basing that on those trends in that article that Bates came at. So Rory McIlroy first pick. My second pick on the list, which oddly enough was on the list of people you should fade based on that article. Is Louis Oosthuizen at 9,300. I don't know how you don't take Louis with what he's done. I feel like he's just a majors machine. He seems to be right there in the mix. He's had a phenomenal year. Somehow he's found the putter. So things are going well for Louis. I feel like he's going to win another major. I think he wants it bad. So yeah, I've got Louis as my second pick there.
So you kind of dropped down on your dollars there. So I wanted another heavy hitter. I figure I need two guys that are going to just, carry the load for the squad. And I'm going with Brooks, he's still worth 10,700. The guy is just an absolute machine. It's like he either misses the cut or comes in the top 10. I see a 1, I see a 2, I see a 4 and a 5. And 4 and 5 being the last two. So I feel really confident that he's going to make the cut and get me into the money there.
Yeah. He always seems to be in the mix of he's open about it, saying like he cares about majors for sure. Like that's what's most important to him. So
now we get into the fun. Now we get in the fun. We got our heavy hitters of the way. Yeah. Who's your third pick here?
So my third pick here, who I really like, I've got Scottie Schaffler on this one. I've talked a little bit about Scottie, I think, on other podcasts. So he was coming in at 8,200. Okay. So I'm looking at Scottie largely on a recent form in his performance at majors. So we look at his performance at majors. He finished 18th at the Masters. He finished 8th at the PGA Championship. He was 7th at the US Open, but he's had a lot of great showings at some other tournaments. He was 3rd at the Memorial. The Travelers he didn't play so well. He finished 47th, but then came over, played the Scottish Open last week, finished 12th, and had an impressive weekend going 67, 69, and was also 63 in that second round. So has shown that he can come over and maybe play some link style golf here. So I really like Scottie for that pick. I've got him as my third.
The third I have is a man by the name, hold on here, of Harris English.
Recent form.
Hey, recent form. So I was looking at who has moved up, who's gained the most points in the overall leaderboard this year. Yeah, in the
World Golf Rankings or FedEx Cup. It might be both, to be honest with you. He's got 2 wins, I think.
Yeah, well, he's finished. He's coming off a win at the Travelers, and he came 3rd at the US Open. So I saw the name. I saw the value at $7,300. I'm like, tremendous value for a top 15 player in the world. So immediately on the roster.
And he may have
playing in the British Open with the last name English. Like, let's go. Just find those common threads. Done.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, right? Like that's whatever you need. Hey, you know what? I'm all for it. I got 500,000 riding on that too. So okay, okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so where I went with my next pick, and I've got two guys now here, both sitting at 7,300.
Okay.
The first guy I'll go with here, and I'll give you a sense of, is a guy by the name of Robert McIntyre, a Scottish lad. Okay. So, doesn't check a lot of the boxes in terms of those trends that we talked about in that particular article. He does sit outside of the top 50, I think, in official world golf rankings, but he finished 18th last week. He was 35th at the US Open. He was 49th at the PGA Championships, but he was 8th at the British Masters, and he was 12th at the Masters. So I don't know if his recent form has been fantastic by any means. I truthfully, I don't know a lot about Robert McIntyre, but he's 13 of 14 cuts made, and you need guys that can make cuts and be there. So I'm hoping that the 18th at the Scottish Open, he can build on that. He shot 4 rounds in the 60s this past week at the Scottish Open. So I'm hoping that's a momentum building for him. He's playing here in the UK. He has a lot of experience playing on the European tour. So I kind of like Robert McIntyre here, and I'm going with him at the 7,300.
The next one I'm going after is also in the 7,300, and it's Thomas Deitre. Again, I'm playing in this now. I'm also looking at bankroll management now. So this is where the pain is starting to that I'm starting to feel the pain from taking the Brooks and Rory. But I'm looking at his current fit, what he's coming out of, and tied at second in the Scottish Open, had the lead through it. I think he blew it in the 4th round. He's got second in the last 4 tournaments. He's missed 2 cuts in those last 4 as well. So this is really going to be a hit or miss pick, but I feel like I'm getting value. He's coming off a pretty darn good performance. Doesn't have to travel too far away. So let's go. Yeah. Welcome to the squad, Thomas Deitre.
Love it. And you know what's really fun? I've got Thomas Deitre as my next pick at the 7,300. So I've got him for a lot of the same reasons. I'm looking at him in recent form. He, like you said, finished second at the Scottish Open, and he made 20 birdies over the course of that week. Those are big scores. We need points right? Like that. So we need points like that. His fantasy points were 123.5 last week, which is big points. So if he can do something similar, make a ton of birdies. He also had 4 rounds in the 60s there, but he's got 4 top 10s. He's made 12 of 16 cuts. Again, I don't know a ton about Thomas Deitre. He plays a lot on the European tour as well. Didn't fare so well at the Irish Open or the US Open. So he had 2 back-to-back missed cuts prior to the Scottish Open. But let's build on that momentum and let's go Thomas. We'll take him. I've got him there as my 4th pick or my 5th pick now. 5th, because I've got one more to go.
5th. And so I am going with my 5th pick, Lucas Herbert. I cannot believe, first of all, I'm getting this guy that now we're really struggling for cash. Like this, so he's worth 6,800. Like we're really reaching here. And again, I was really looking for someone coming in with a little bit of pace. He won the Irish Open, 4th at the Scottish Open. So really playing that trend. He's made a lot of cuts this year. So I think he's going to be pretty solid. Number 49 in the world. I feel like if I'm getting a top 50 player, how many people make the cut?
70, I believe, make the cut.
So this guy should make the cut. Top 49th player in the world. He's playing not too far. He doesn't have to travel too far. Like, yeah, for that rate, I feel like I'm getting him for great value.
Yeah, and we're back to back on the same picks there. I've got Lucas Herbert here.
You got him too?
I got him here too at 6,800. Nice. Again, I'm down to some value. I've got 200 remaining in the bank account. I could have looked elsewhere.
Wow.
But again, like that recent form for Lucas Herbert just looked too impressive. And again, when I looked at his fantasy points over the course of the last 2 tournaments, the Irish Open and the Scottish Open, So Irish Open was 130.5, Scottish Open 121.5. Impressive outings there. So again, he's a guy that I look at and say, hopefully he can build off that momentum. It's 2 solid rounds playing in Europe, in the UK, and he's 10 of 13 on cuts. So again, you need guys that can make cuts, that have shown recent form and have some pretty solid sound experience playing in sort of that link style. So I'm hoping that he can build off this momentum and get himself into a good spot here. So that's my last guy that rounds out the roster.
So my last guy here, we were really struggling for cash here. But I had 700 remaining after this. So I don't know if I'm leaving
7,000.
No, I had $700 left. So I feel like I could get a guy. So my last guy is worth $6,300.
Okay.
I think that's the absolute lowest you can go in terms of the value. No, you can get a couple guys for 6,000. You could get John Daly. You could actually pick John Daly for $6,000, take his 0 and maybe offset it with something else. But I don't know if that strategy would pay off.
Yeah, wouldn't be wise.
Anyway, so who I landed on was a guy. I was looking for a great story here. And the only reason this gentleman got in is because somebody dropped out. And he's also got a solid first name.
John Daly-esque.
Troy Merritt.
Okay.
Merritt.
Okay.
I hope I'm pronouncing that name right.
No, yeah, you got it. That's right.
He's got, I'm looking at his year so far. He's got a second place. He's finished top 10 3 other times. I like him. I like him. I'm sold, and he's on the squad. Welcome, Troy Merritt.
So what'd you get him at?
$6,300.
Yeah, interesting. And that's the part of DF. Like that's part of playing daily fantasy golf, right? Like there's so many different directions you can go,
Totally.
So many different combinations you can build. That's one of the reasons why it can be so frustrating, but also so fun to do and play, and then track those team alongs over the course of the weekend. Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Man, if we can just get our guys all through the first day, we're going to be like so excited.
Yeah, you need to get some guys that, they've got to be up there, right? Again, you can't miss cuts. You miss cuts, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So if anyone has a really bad first day, that gets troublesome. That's kind of where it's nice to have a couple of other teams and rosters built and playing some different combinations. So that way, you can, you've got some others to fall back on. Because if you have a couple of guys or a guy that misses a cut, all of a sudden you're kind of like looking at your weekend and thinking, now you're just trying to end up in the money to recoup as much as you can.
I wonder how many people will have similar teams to us, like picking the same folks for the same kind of reason. So like a lot of ours was based on who's coming in hot.
Yeah.
I think
it happens a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it happens a lot for sure. There's a lot of guys like, that's why like a Troy Merritt might be an interesting pick, because a lot of people may not have him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If he were to win,
well,
I'm going to be gold.
Yeah, you'll be up there for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would have to think so. So interesting. So that is daily fantasy, a different take on betting golf, right? Like, which is kind of fun. It's different than looking at those props or trying to figure an outright winner in golf, especially in this tournament where I really feel like, there's a lot of different factors that come into play when it comes to link style of golf. So it's tough to do that. It's tough to really figure out who that winner could be.